Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my very first book tag. And this original video was actually started by Bangity Bangs. I will link his channel down below. But today I'm gonna do the coffee book tag. That's right. Let's see how well this goes as my first book tag. Number 1, Black. Name a series that is really hard to get into, but has really die-hard fans. And this one, I'm going with some big chunkers here. For this one, I'm going with the Game of Thrones from George R.R. Martin. Die-hard fans, but I am so nervous to get into these books. Not only are they big, I mean, like, holy crap, look at this. Look at these. They're ginormous. There's so much to read. I'm nervous to get into this series because not only is there die-hard fans, but there are a lot of world building, plot twists, millions of characters that you have to like pronounce their names and figure out who they are. And if you've watched the series, great. I actually watched already the first season, but then I kind of was like, you know what? I want to read the books before I watch the rest of the series. And now we're like, what, 4 years into Game of Thrones and they're like on season 5 or something crazy like that. And so I'm very far behind. Really wanting to get into this series, but at the same time, I'm so nervous. It's so daunting. They're so huge. Number 2, Peppermint Mocha. Name a book or a series that gets more popular during the winter or holiday festive season. And this I'm going with none other than A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I almost went with Harry Potter because everyone and their dog seems to go with Harry Potter during the winter season and Christmas, but I've never related Harry Potter with Christmas. I don't know. I think I'm like that weird 1% that just doesn't relate with that kind of a season. But for me, I'm going with Charles Dickens. I mean, he is my ride or die during Christmas time. And lo and behold, I have read this entire book. This doesn't include just A Christmas Carol. It also includes other Christmas stories and Christmas books. The print is super tiny, but it's worth it. Like what is up with my hair? I love this series. I think besides just A Christmas Carol as being one of my favorite Christmas time stories, I also like The Chimes. That one is fantastic. And the story of the goblins who stole like a sextant. Christmas. Winter. Number 3, Hot Chocolate. Name a favorite children's book. I'm gonna go with The Witches by Roald Dahl. I know, crazy, but I love creepy books. And when I was younger, that's all I ever read was scary books. Granted, when I was younger, Goosebumps didn't really start existing till I was more like a teenager. So even when I was younger, I was reading R.L. Stein books, which were more like back then like your YA type of genre. So I got into like even the children's books that were a little creepy. The Witches, let's see, Bunnicula. Does anyone remember Bunnicula? This one was fantastic and I can't wait for my kids to read this, but they're like, no, it's like old and it's a classic. But I love this and the movie was even creepier when I was a kid. It's about these witches that this grandmother has told stories to her grandson for years. One day they go, I think it's like a hotel or something. It's been a while since I've read this. Lo and behold, there's witches there and they turn children into mice. I loved this book when I was little, loved it. Book number 4 is Double Shot of Espresso. Who doesn't love extra caffeine? I do. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. I'm going with the book You by Carolyn Kepnes. This book threw me for a loop. It's from the perspective of Joe, who is a stalker. He is a creepy fella, and you get to see from his point of view and his mind, and some of the things that he's thinking about when he's stalking these women is like, you start to go, yeah, I can see that. I could totally relate. And then you're like, oh my God, no, that's not how I should think. But the way Joe puts it, it's like, it makes total sense. And then you have like this creepiness, like, oh my God, I'm a total creep. Kind of like if you've like watched the series Dexter, where you're like, okay, he's a serial killer who kills other serial killers or bad people, but at the same time, he's kind of bad and you're rooting for the bad guy and then you feel dirty for rooting for the bad guy. This is totally kept me on the edge of my seat. And my husband even read this one and he loved it. He was like, I felt so dirty reading the whole thing, but by the end, you're like, it's so good. It's so good. It's creepy, but it's good. I loved it. Number 5, Starbucks. Name a book that you see everywhere. Who doesn't see this series everywhere? Not only in the bookstores are you seeing this, but it is on BookTube and Goodreads everywhere. And not only this, like the spin-off series. So this is the City of Bones, Your Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. And then there's also like other spin-off series and she's still coming out with other books or whatever. But these are freaking everywhere, people. And don't get mad at me. I haven't even read them yet. It's on my list of things to do, but you know, now that it's like everybody's ride or die, I'm a little hesitant to get into it because what if I don't like them like everybody else? Anyways, I see it everywhere. Everywhere. Number 6, That Hipster Coffee Shop. Name a book from an indie author and give them a shout out. I have no idea. I'm lame. I don't know any. Maybe I do. And I sure like researched it, but sorry. Number 7. Oops. I accidentally got decaf. Who the F accidentally gets decaf? There's something wrong with you. Decaf is like for toddlers. Let's move on. Name a book that you were expecting more from. And this one I'm gonna go with Return to Robinson Island by T.J. Hoisington. I was asked to review this book about a year ago. Maybe it's been longer. It is a spin-off or like a sequel to Swiss Family Robinson, the total classic. My sister-in-law who lives in Washington actually knows this gentleman and is a friend of hers, and she asked, would it be okay if we sent you a book that you could review? And I said, hell yeah, let's do it. And I loved Swiss Family Robinson, so a sequel, hell yeah. I did enjoy this one, I really did. But I was actually expecting more from it. To me, it felt like it was very predictable. Like I could almost see after every chapter what was gonna happen next. For that, that's just why I was expecting more from it. I still rated it like a 4 or 4.5. I still loved it and it was fantastic, but I was kind of expecting more from it. But other than that, it was good. And number 8, The Perfect Blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet, at the end, very satisfying. And that one I'm gonna go with Whistling Past the Graveyard by Susan Crandall. Oh my gosh, this book was so bitter and so sweet. And at the very end, it was so satisfying. I loved it. It was so great. Young girl who is pretty much, she's lost her mother she's vanished off doing her own thing, and she lives with her father, but he must work and he travels a lot. So she's stuck with her grandmother, who is very stuck in her ways, Mississippi Southern woman, and is a little bit hard on her grandchild. And this girl decides she's gonna run away and find a better life and go find her mama. And along the way, she finds this beautiful African-American woman who is in a very abusive relationship. These two kind of befriend each other on their adventures and their way towards finding this girl's mama. It was so cute, it was so heart-wrenching, but at the same time it was so sweet and definitely satisfying at the end, and I highly recommend anyone to read this. It was so worth it. All right, there you guys have it. My very first BookTube tag. I really enjoyed doing this. It kind of made me like go through my bookshelves and like reminisce over other books that I have read or like from the past, and it was actually quite fun. So I can't wait to do some more of these and maybe dive into other books that I have read that maybe you don't hear much on BookTube that you would love to have me share with you guys. So thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe my channel if you would like to see more of these type of book tags. I'm also linking my Goodreads channel, my Facebook, my Instagram. So please come by and say hi to me on those social medias. I would love to see your smiling faces, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.